Black Lives Matter gets nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's tweet against Senator Ted Cruz is still up on Twitter. Plus, former President Trump shakes up his impeachment legal team. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with a story. You know, there are some stories that just make you scratch your head. You wonder, can this be real? And believe me, I know it's Monday. I know it's not Relaxed Brain Friday, but this is a real story, folks. And it involves Black Lives Matter. You know, the group that was responsible for hundreds of riots during the summer, all the violence, the looting, the vandalism, all of that, that group has actually been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yep, the world has gone crazy, and here's the story. Black Lives Matter has been nominated for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize, a pitch that lauds the movement's fight against racial injustice, but takes little note of the decidedly non-peaceful violence and property damage that has been committed in its name. BLM was nominated for the humanitarian honor by a Norwegian politician who hailed its multiracial breadth, calling it a very important worldwide movement to fight racial injustice, The Guardian reported. Can you believe this? I guess the days are gone when you actually had to forge a groundbreaking worldwide peace treaty, bringing hostile nations together for the Nobel Peace Prize. Or at least do something peaceful. Actually do a peaceful movement. I guess that's gone too, because the Nobel Peace Prize has become nothing more than another left-wing label, something that they can use to pat themselves on the back without actually advancing the cause for peace. And what about BLM? What about all the violence and riots and looting? Does it even matter? Here's more from the man who made the nomination. The Pole, Peter Eide, a member of Norway's parliament, brushed aside questions of the movement's occasions of violence on Friday. Studies have shown that most of the demonstrations organized by Black Lives Matter have been peaceful, Eide said. Of course, there have been incidents, but most of them have been caused by the activities of either the police or counter-protesters. More than 93% of U.S. BLM protests have been peaceful, according to a September study by the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, which looked at 7,750 demonstrations from 4 months of last year. I find that statistic to be very, very interesting. They looked at 7,750 protests, 93% of which were peaceful. That means 543 were not. 543 violent protests where people were hurt, property damaged, businesses destroyed, on and on and on, and yet it's mostly peaceful. President Trump, by all accounts, had 600 rallies and events in his 4 years as president. 600. One of them, the Capitol Hill riot, turned violent. 1 out of 600, a 99.8%, yet only people talk about is the one. This one, 543 violent protests. Would you want a group showing up if there was a 7% chance it was going to turn violent? And yet they're labeled as mostly peaceful and now nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. So let's just take a little look in history. Here is a clip from BLM's history of spreading peace and love.
Protesters broke into a pointed refrain.
Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon!
What some may find offensive is also free speech. What's ironic here is that marchers were being protected by the very officers targeted in the chant.
Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Yeah, that's peaceful. That really brings people together. That's not going to incite violence. Give me a break. And here's more.
Officer Dave Titus heads the St. Paul Police Federation. He called it dangerous and outrageous rhetoric, especially coming just hours after a Texas deputy was gunned down in cold blood.
I don't think chanting or singing chants that are basically promoting killing police officers is peaceful.
It's interesting that BLM can actually call for violence. They can incite violence and no one says a word. President Trump gets up there and says to peacefully and patriotically let your voices be heard, and now he's been impeached for inciting violence. It's an absolute double standard, and it's outrageous that Black Lives Matter can be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. All right, next, let's talk about some more double standards. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 150,000 subscribers, and we can do it with your help. All right, the next double standard, big tech, in particular, Twitter, because President Trump has been banned. He has been banned on Twitter. He never had called for violence against anyone. He was tweeting about election integrity, voter fraud, election law violations. And when he was doing that, every tweet was getting flagged or blocked. Now he's banned. But if you're on the left, you can say just about anything. Look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Look at what she tweeted, and note by the end of the story that it's still up there, not flagged, not labeled, not anything. It all starts with this tweet about Wall Street and the Robinhood trading platform. This is unacceptable. We now need to know more about Robinhood's decision to block retail investors from purchasing stock while hedge funds are freely able to trade stock as they see fit. As a member of the Financial Services Committee, I'd support a hearing if necessary. All right, harmless enough. Senator Ted Cruz, he saw that tweet. He retweeted it with this comment. Fully agree. All right, that's what he said. That's what Senator Ted Cruz said. Well, this is where things get crazy because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took that tweet, retweeted it, and added this comment. I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this one out. Happy to work with almost any other GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign. Almost had me murdered, and you tried to get me killed. You can't say that. You can't go around accusing people of attempted murder. That is a serious charge to a serious crime. And yet Twitter, Jack Dorsey, that tweet's still up there. I just got it to make the screenshot for this show. It's up there. It's not flagged. She's not banned. She's not blocked. She's not shadow banned. Nothing. It's still up there. The reaction has been intense to this, just not from the left. Because if you're on the left, anything goes. Here's a tweet from Steven Crowder. I'm not saying this tweet is an attempt to incite violence against a sitting senator, but a claim like that requires proof or it's verifiable libel. You clearly see yourself as above the law. Hashtag part of the rigged system. I love that part. Part of the rigged system. And it's absolutely right. These entities, Facebook, the big tech, Twitter, you name it, they all have a different standard for the left and a different standard for the right. And they think they can just go on doing it because no one can do anything about it. But here's the thing. This is why the laws need to be changed. Because if Twitter allows this, and we can sue, Senator Ted Cruz can sue AOC, he needs to be able to sue Twitter as well for providing this platform to magnify, amplify AOC's claims. Because it's absolutely outrageous and nothing is being done about it. All right, next, let's talk about former President Trump because he made the news over the weekend by shaking up big time, completely, his impeachment legal team. The trial is set to begin in just a few days, and he has a whole new team coming into place. And here's the story. Former President Donald Trump announced Sunday night that he's hired a new team of lawyers to represent him in his Senate impeachment trial, scheduled to start in just a week. Mr. Trump said trial lawyers David Schoen of Alabama and Bruce Castor Jr. of suburban Philadelphia will head his impeachment defense, bringing national profiles and significant trial experience in high-profile cases to the effort. Mr. Schoen has experience in voting rights cases, and Mr. Castor is a former Montgomery County, Pennsylvania district attorney who declined to prosecute disgraced comedian Bill Cosby. So why the shakeup? Well, if you read in that story from the Washington Times and CNN, which really broke this story about the shakeup of the legal team, here's the deal, at least according to those sources, is that there was controversy. The existing team, the one that's been replaced, wanted to push the angle of the constitutionality of even having the trial. And I've gone into that before. What President Trump wants to do, according to CNN, is push the voter fraud allegations, the illegal voting, the machines, the ballot stuffing, that kind of aspect. And you got to take CNN with a grain of salt, because yesterday on the State of the Union, they were talking about this. They were talking about the shakeup of the legal team. And here's how CNN's Dana Bash puts it.
Sure, you've seen the news that CNN broke last night. All 5 members of former President Trump's impeachment team quit. And there's just a week until this trial begins. CNN's reporting is that they left amid a disagreement over strategy because Trump wanted them to argue the election was stolen. What does that say to you about the former president, that he's still trying to perpetuate the lie, the very lie that led to the insurrection in the first place?
Oh my gosh. This is why people hate CNN and why CNN is at the bottom of the ratings. There are still many questions out there that I even bring up about election law violations, questions that have never been heard. The Supreme Court should hear them. They punted. Nothing we can do about that right now. But yet CNN, they just say Trump is spreading lies. Give me a break. So here's the deal. If Trump wants to pursue that, if he wants to pursue that angle, go for it. Here's what I would do. I think there are 2 main points to bring up in this trial. One is when the president is out there, and we know that this incitement, this violence was already planned. It was pre-planned. But if the president is out there saying to peacefully and patriotically let your voices be heard, that is not incitement, plain and simple. Number 2 is that the whole impeachment trial is about removing the president from office. He's already out of office. You can't do that. So the trial, the proceedings are unconstitutional. John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, is supposed to preside over this. He's not doing it because he says that you preside over a process that removes the president from office. He's already out of office, so you can't have the process. So he's not participating. That should send a big message about what's going on here. But that's the latest with President Trump and impeachment. So next, let's talk about what's going on in Los Angeles County, because they are opening up outdoor dining. In LA County, you can now eat outdoors, except you can't watch TV in the process. And here's the story. Outdoor dining in Los Angeles County reopened Friday with the catch. Restaurants and bars can't have their televisions turned on for customers, according to a new health order. Televisions or any other screens that are used to broadcast programming must be removed from the area or turned off. This provision is effective until further notice. Guidance issued Thursday reads, it's unclear why the county is prohibiting restaurants from using their televisions, given no specific evidence that televisions contribute to the spread of the coronavirus. Fox 11's Bill Milligan, however, said he suspects the health department wants to stop people from watching the Super Bowl outdoors at sports bars and restaurants. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. So you can go eat outside, but you can't watch TV while you do it. This is just another thing that hurts bars and restaurants. They're already shut down. I go out to eat all the time. And as people know who watch the 13-minute news hour, because it's a very smart audience, you know that there is no evidence that eating at bars and restaurants are super spreaders of coronavirus. It's not there. The evidence doesn't exist. Yet, bars and restaurants are what's being shut down in these blue states. It hurts these business owners. And now you say you can open up in this limited outdoor area, but give people a chance to maybe hang out a little longer, buy one more drink, buy another appetizer so the restaurant can actually make money by watching TV? Nope, can't do that. TVs have to be off. Democrats and the left do not follow the science at all. There's no science behind closing bars and restaurants in general, and there's certainly no science that TV watching is going to spread coronavirus. It's absolutely nuts, but that's what's going on in Los Angeles County. And Democrats, the left, the media say they want to follow the science. They actually give press conferences and briefings saying, we're going to follow the science. You can't have TVs on. Schools are still closed in many blue state areas, yet all the evidence, all the science says schools need to be reopened. They should be open now, and yet some are still closed. It's outrageous, but that's the left, that's the blue states, and in particular, that's LA County. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.